Meanwhile, the opioid epidemic continues to spread throughout the United States. Just this week in Florida, officers found over 10,000 fentanyl pills in Burlington County. And in Escambia County as well, police uncovered over 1,600 grams of fentanyl. Now, let's put that in perspective. That's enough to kill everyone in Northwest Florida. This comes following a report of a Florida cop who overdosed after being exposed to fentanyl during a traffic stop.
In response to the crisis, Florida Attorney General Ashley Moody sent a letter to President Biden writing, quote, "If you continue to refuse to address this issue, step aside and allow a qualified drug czar the authority to act in the best interests of Americans at home." And joining us now, please welcome Florida Attorney General Ashley Moody. Ashley, thanks so much for being with us on the day before Christmas. Give us your reaction to what we learned from Jason Jones and what you think has to happen now.
Well, you can see this is all resulting because of the uncontrolled order. Since Biden took office, he started purposefully dismantling our immigration security structures at the border and the onslaught of unvetted immigrants. Now, remember, we detained a record number of folks on the terrorist watch list last year. I mean, and not just a record, I mean, like 5 times more than the last 5 years combined. An amazing, astounding amount. And the number of doses of fentanyl that are now in our country is dangerous. Not only have I called for a drug czar to be put back on the cabinet, while Biden was vice president, this was undone. And I've also called on it to be designated as a weapon of mass destruction. I mean, we had a cop that overdosed just because they pulled over someone that had it in their car and they were trying to take the drugs into custody. We've had numerous mass overdose events in Florida. And just this week, DEA said they've seized enough this year to kill the entire U.S. population. Meanwhile, Biden continues to do nothing. He has not sat down for any length of time or with any specific purpose and spoken with President Xi about the precursors that are being made in China. He hasn't had a summit to talk about this in Mexico with their president. He hasn't even been to the border because he says he has more important things to do. It's time he stepped up and protect his people at home.
Unbelievable. I mean, I'm sorry. I listened to you, Attorney General, and I'm thinking to myself that we have to be missing something because this is just out of control.
How could it be so bad?
How could it be so bad? But every time we say that, it gets worse. Let me ask you this. You know, I was an FBI agent, and before that, I was a uniformed police officer for a short period of time. If the federal government, just explain to the viewers, if the federal government doesn't do their job on this, how can the local authorities, regardless of whether they're in Texas or Arizona or any of these border towns, how can they possibly keep up with this if the federal government policy is basically allowing it?
And you have nailed it. And thank you for your prior service. You can probably hear the passion in my voice about this issue because I'm not just an AG. I was a former federal prosecutor. I'm married to a law enforcement officer, and I've watched what these folks are going through, desperately trying to keep their heads above water, trying to keep their own ranks safe because of what this president has failed to do. Let me rephrase that. Not just failed to do, has purposefully broken down at the border. And when Title 42 is rescinded, we uncovered through litigation, they had a plan. The plan was, when we get overrun with unvetted migrants coming into the country when Title 42 is rescinded, because remember, Biden tried to rescind Title 42 back in May, and we had states like ours step up and fight them in court. Thank goodness we got a delay, but you know, a court just rescinded it. They are going to see such chaos, such pandemonium. Their plan that we uncovered in writing that a Border Patrol chief, 30-year career, said he had never seen anything like it. Their plan was to step aside and let them overrun our border and flood in. That was their plan. And so when you see the White House press secretary dodging these questions, when you see the president dodging these questions, it's because they have no idea how they will control it because they're already losing the battle because they've broken down any sense of security or structure. When this happens, their plan is to just let everyone come in. And we found out, you know what they're doing? Those they do encounter, they're handing them a piece of paper and saying, wherever you intend to live in our country, welcome, check in with ICE when you get there.
Yeah, Ashley, really, I do sense your passion and again, really appreciate everything that you're doing to try to help, and of course your husband's, I know, hard work as well. And we do hope it gets better in the new year. But as you pointed out, Michael, it seems to get worse every single day. Attorney General Ashley Moody, thanks so much for being with us.
Thanks for inviting me. Great to be with you.